What if I told you there's a simple pattern you can use to understand all the chords and find all the notes on the guitar easily without memorizing? Utter nonsense? I don't think so. It's a fact, and I'm going to show you right now. As you can see in this diagram, music is made of 7 notes. And you've seen this before if you've looked at a piano or a keyboard. And by 7 notes, what I mean is there are 7 notes in the major scale. Here we are playing the same notes on the guitar. For a number of reasons, we typically begin counting the notes of the major scale at the note C. And that gives us the C major scale. Obviously, the guitar is quite different from the piano, so we're not surprised to find that the notes are laid out a little bit differently. One difference is that although we can play all the notes and chords on the guitar, because of the way the notes are laid out on the guitar, there are only 5 basic chord shapes, not 7 as we would expect. And we'll see that there's an easy way for us to overcome this small difference between the instruments. Let's have a look at these 5 chord shapes, which we refer to by their names strung together, C, A, G, E, D. CAGED is the name of a simple organizational pattern that shows us the note locations all across the neck, just using these 5 chord shapes that we already know. What happens when I play a C chord in its normal position with the root note lined up on the C note of the A string? As you can see, the notes we play in the chord are only the notes C, E, and G, the notes of the triad of the C major scale. Of course, it's not a coincidence that these notes are nicely laid out in this first area of the guitar neck. The guitar neck has been designed so that we can conveniently reach the triad of the major chord right here. A pleasant surprise is that we can also move this shape around to play other chords. For example, I can slide this shape up to the 7th fret and then it becomes an E chord as we use in Shelter from the Storm. What happens when we look at the next part of the neck? Okay, here's an A chord. And if I slide that up to the 5th fret and put my pointer across at the 3rd fret onto the C on the 3rd fret of the A string, there's the chord C again, but being played as an A. Once again, the only notes we play in this chord are also the notes C, E, and G, the notes of the triad of the C major chord. Only now we're playing in a new position between the 3rd and the 5th fret. Again, it's not a coincidence that these notes are nicely laid out in this second area of the guitar neck. The neck has been designed so that we can conveniently reach the triad of the major chord in 5 different positions. Here again, we're achieving this by using the shape of the A chord as a movable shape. Most chords on the guitar can be used as movable shapes. So what happens when we look at the next part of the neck? Okay, so let's play a G-shaped chord. I'm going to play it like this. There's a G-shaped chord. But if I want to use this shape to play it as a C, I have to slide the root note, my ring finger, all the way up here to the 8th fret. And then I'm going to bar across at 5 with my pointer, and there's a C chord. There's a C chord, but being played with the shape of a G. Okay? Once again, the only notes we play in this chord, in this position, are also the notes C, E, and G, as you can see in the diagram. The notes of the triad of the C major chord. But now we're in a new position spanning between the 5th and the 8th fret. Notice that here we have to bar across at the 5th fret in order to capture all the correct notes. And that's because this original shape relies on some open notes that are not available to us when we move the shape around. Again, we've converted the chord G into a movable shape, moving it from the 3rd fret up to the 8th fret. Let's move to the next part of the neck. There's an E chord. But if I want to use that to play a C chord, I'm going to switch over in the view so you can see where I'm going. I might be able to just move here. I have to slide that shape way up here to the 8th fret. And I'm going to bar across at the 8th fret. Now I've slid that chord way up here to the 8th fret. I'm barring across with the index finger. And there's a C chord, but being played with the shape of an E or F chord. Once again, the only notes we're playing when we play the E chord or F chord in this position are also the notes C, E, and G, the notes of the triad of the C major chord. Now we're in a new position between the 8th fret and the 10th fret. Notice here we are playing a fully barred F chord but positioned at the 8th fret in order to play a C chord. We saw this need to bar with the last chord too. There you go. And I'm going to put my pointer down across the 5th fret, and now I'm playing a C chord in the shape of a G. We usually have to use the index finger of the fretting hand to bar or partially bar when we move a basic open chord shape to a new position on the neck. What happens when we look at the next position on the neck? Okay, here's my D chord. Now I'm going to slide that shape, I'm going to slide that up the neck. I'm playing it at the 12th and 13th fret with my pointer. So I'm way up here. I'm playing that at the 12th and 13th fret with my pointer on the 10. And there is a D chord being played high up in the neck. You'll notice I'm not barring. I'm just using the pointer finger to hold down D because I'm holding down all 4 of the highest strings with these fingers. I'm holding down all 4 of the highest strings with these fingers. Sorry, it's a wiggly shot. There we go, that's a little better. Okay, I'm holding down all 4 of the strings with these fingers. And there's a C chord quite high up on the guitar, but nonetheless you can see how I'm using the D shape to be able to play the C chord. And now what I'm playing is a C chord in the shape of a D, with the root note being a C on the 10th fret of the D string. Once again, the only notes we're playing in this chord in this position are also the notes C, E, and G, the notes of the triad of the C major chord. Now we're in a new position between 10 and 13. In this position, we don't have to bar because we're only playing the top 4 strings of the guitar, D, G, B, and E. And we have seen this movable D shape before. For example, in Gentle on My Mind, we use this shape to play an E sus chord. Okay, so we're going. Then we go to the D sus, the E sus. And this is a D shape, but being played 2 frets higher than D as an E. Back to diagram 15. At this point, we're back at the 12th and 13th fret, which is a repeat of where we began again, but an octave higher, because of course the whole guitar repeats again starting at the 12th fret. Okay, so far we've seen how we can use these 5 basic shapes to play a C major chord in 5 different positions. So I'll do that again. C, A, G, E, D. Okay? We've also started to look at how we can move these shapes around to play a bunch of different chords. Let's have a look at this whole process across the whole neck just to solidify our grasp of this system. We're going to look at the whole guitar neck. Look at where we apply the C chord to play the C major chord. Okay, next, where do we place the A shape to play a C major chord? Next, where do we play the G shape to get a C major chord? And where do we play the E shape to get a C major chord? Finally, where do we place the D shape to get a C major chord? So you can see how these 5 basic chord shapes provide us with a road map to C major all over our guitar. We're still missing 2 of the basic chords in music though, B and F, B major and F major. Let's look at B major first. Let's look at the B major chord. Here you can see the A chord in its original position on the 2nd fret, and the root is an open A string. Okay, if I just slide that shape up 2 frets and I bar with my pointer across the 2nd fret, that's how I play a B chord. Okay. Similarly, if I take an E chord in its open position, it's here, and if I just slide it up by 1 fret and bar across the 1st fret, you can see now I have a nice F chord. Okay, and if you're having trouble barring, I'm putting a link to a barring lesson in the card at the top of the screen here, so you can click on that and make your barring easy and friendly and painless. So today we learned about the CAGED system. We learned about how we use these 5 chord shapes to play C major in the 5 different positions on the whole neck. We learned how you can move shapes around and a little bit about how we have to bar sometimes to use the moved shapes. And we looked at how we can use 2 of the basic shapes and the E to play the missing guitar shapes, which are the B and the F. Okay, if you want to learn more about chords and easy ways to understand them, click on one of the videos that are coming up here on your screen now and follow those links to learn some more stuff. Join me here again soon. We'll have a look at how the CAGED system provides us with a map to not only the guitar neck, but also to how can we easily find the major scale anywhere on the guitar neck, no matter what key we're in and no matter what fret we're at. So come on back and visit me again soon.